I recently picked up another Mannlicher Schoenauer. I got a 1950 just recently in 270. This is the 1950 right here. Since I have a number of them that span over the years that the Mannlicher Schoenauer was made, figured I'd go through and show you some of the different features. Now this is a model 1908 in 8x56 Mannlicher Schoenauer. This is a 1950 in a 270, a 1952 in 30-06, and another 1952 in 270. So just going across some of the features, as you can see, these two first ones here have set triggers. Get a closer look up on one of those. These are all shown to be empty. So basically you pull the back trigger and then you just basically can touch the front one and it goes off. Very nice for accurate shooting. Americans not necessarily like such arrangement, so I believe so there was 1908, 1950, 1952, 1952. When we get to the 1952 models, most of them that I've seen have a single trigger on them. And again, we're empty. And they actually have a very nice and smooth trigger on them, but it is a single trigger. The bolts, too, you can see there's a difference. So the 1908 and 1952 have a straight bolt handle. The 1950 and 1908 have straight bolt handles. The 1952 models and later have a curved bolt handle. Now the idea was, if you're on your shoulder and you reach up to get this, a Mauser bolt would be about right here. It was a little more difficult to actually get to that to operate it. Now there's other things you can do to do that, but one of their solutions was to move the bolt handle back a little bit. So that gives you another close to maybe an inch, 3/4 of an inch. So it does help a little bit. Some of the other things that they changed was on the earlier models here, and actually you can see better on this one here, the 1908, it has a stripper clip bridge, and that was made from putting a stripper clip and loading 5 rounds in at a time. The 1950 also has that stripper clip bridge, but the 1952 and beyond, they eliminated that because people were starting to go to more scope mounts. Now, another thing here too is scope mounts. Mannlicher Schoenauers are very difficult for putting scopes on, notoriously. You have to put a drill mount, scope mount up here, and then because it has a split ridge here, so your bolt handle goes through the back of the ridge there, or bridge, not ridge, and so you ended up having to put a scope mount there. Now there's all kinds of different ones. I've had them, Paul Yeager's and stuff like that, and different Howes. Very nice scope mounts. What Mannlicher Schoenauer came up with was a little bit different in that they have a swing mount. And if you look at some of my other videos, they'll go into more detail. But basically, I have 2 of these with factory mounts on them. You can see here, you just push in on the back. You swing the scope to the side. You can try to get a picture of it like that. And you go to 90 degrees, and you pull it straight off. So, post fits in here, rotates there 90 degrees. The rear mount mounts in there. It's a very nice mount, but I would imagine probably pretty expensive to do that. Now, I've tested this one in particular numerous times, and it does hold at 0, which is very nice. Now, two of the other differences you can see here is I have 3 of the carbines, or the Mannlicher Schoenauer stocks, the full stocks, and I just picked up a rifle. So you have these here, which are a lot shorter than this one here, and also too, you can see the stocks. The carbines go all the way to the end, and they have that typical, what actually people call Mannlicher stocks now. Go all the way to the end, very nice. And the rifle stocks end partway down the barrel. But they do have a barrel band on here that attaches the stock to the front to hold it in place. They are not free-floated. You can see here too with the carbines, because you have your sling swivel in the front, comes through like that. Let's see, any other changes? Oh, yes. So safeties. Safety on the originals, 1903s, which predated this 1908. 1903s would have been in 6.5 by 54 Mannlicher Schoenauer. They have a wing safety, which is 2-position, similar to a Mauser's. Safe locks the bolt handle and does not allow the striker to go forward. Actually blocks the striker. And then later on, whenever we wanted to put scopes on them, let's use this one here because you can see it better. They ended up putting on a side safety here too. So they did not eliminate this guy. Okay, so that one's still there, but they put a side safety on. Remember, this guy's a little stiff because nobody ever used it. So back is safe and on is forward, but it does not lock the bolt. Although every one of the bolts also has like a mechanism in it. Right here, there's a little spring-loaded thing that mates up with this here. So with the Mannlicher Schoenauer, as opposed to most bolt action rifles, it's a little harder actually to bump that open while you're in the field. So with this safety, I actually don't feel too bad on this with not knocking that loose. The stock stayed similar throughout the life of the rifles. Of course, I told you about the rifle and the carbine versions. Now, originally here, though, they had... Oh boy. Let's see what have I got here to open this up with. They have a trap in the back that can be opened up, and you actually used to have... It could store a cleaning kit in the back, which is very nice. And actually, oh yeah, there I still have some of the two of the original Mannlicher Schoenauer rounds that I had whenever I bought a box of ammo with that. So you can put your cleaning rod and a couple extra rounds of Mannlicher Schoenauer ammunition in there. Very nice buttstock like that. However, once you got past the 1908 and you got to the 1950, 1952s, they decided just to put on a plastic checkered back there, which is functional. Not quite as cool, but it's very functional. Now, I talked about the scope mounts before, and I said about the Paul Yeager and the Griffin Howell ones, and these here. Now, when you get to 1952, I don't think they have them on this. No, they might actually. So, 1952, what they did was, originally, these receivers here on the 1908s were rounded on the side, and they were notoriously hard to mount scopes to. People had to have the machine flat, and then they were able to mount a flat-mounted scope on it. Now this rifle, 1952s, have a little plate here on the side, and down here where you can't see below the wood line is actually a flattened portion that's already been milled off. Now this rifle here actually had a scope on it, and somebody decided to take it off. And you can't even see them on the inside because they filled them in so well, but you can see there's screw holes out here. So the Paul Yeager and the Griffin Howell ones mounted on the flat side there and provided another way to actually slide on and off the scopes. And you'll also find Redfield mounts that mount on the receiver and then on the bridge over here. There's a couple other ones. There's a Leopold that mounts up in here, and you can also get a Pachmayr flip-over mount, which I don't really like because I like something a little more solid than that. And actually this rifle here had one of those on. That's what they removed. And the way you can tell that is, here's a little spot that came off of the finish, and that's where the post of the flip-over sight from Pachmayr used to sit, and it wore off a little bit of the finish. A really good source of information for these rifles is the old Stoeger catalog. I think this one's from like 1954. Yeah, 1954. So inside the catalog, Stoeger is the ones that actually imported these three rifles here during the 50s. And in here they have an extremely detailed catalog that shows the models that were available and the different features that they had. There's the rifle and the carbine versions. They go into how the triggers work and what they look like. They give you different options here that you can order. They show the different scope mounts you can get. There's the Pachmayr flip over. There's the Leopold. There's the Griffin and Howell. They even give information on the magazine, what the drop is on the stock. I mean, lots of detailed information. And then they even go into the scope mount. So they show the one that I have here with the 90-degree flip. There's the one that I just got, which has the ring in front of the receiver. And it looks like that's the only one they show in this catalog. But I have the other one here that it mounts. Again, it's the head of the receiver, but it mounts on the bell, the front bell of the scope. So if you get a chance to get one of the rifles, definitely find one of these catalogs. This is the number 45 Stoeger. Very, very detailed information. Very good for collecting the rifles. So anyways, that's my Mannlicher Schoenauers for now. And those are some of the differences between the different models. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and out.